Welcome to Retro Recommend, a show where I recommend a game that is no longer available on current platforms, but I'll let you know how to get your hands on it. The racing game, despite its overall niche status, seems to be one of the go-to genres for shovelware development. Pretty much every era of gaming after the 5th console generation has had not only its driving legends, but also a mountain of obscure stuff that sometimes isn't even all that bad. Evolution GT is one of those instances. Developed by Milestone SRL, who you now know for MotoGP and Hot Wheels Unleashed, this game launched in 2006 for PlayStation 2, PC, and later the Nintendo DS. For my own convenience, I'm looking at the PS2 version. Also, if you're from the States, you might remember this game as Corvette Evolution GT, not to be confused with another 2000s budget racing game that's just called Corvette. Anyway, let's talk car handling. The make or break of any semi-realistic driving experience all comes down to how satisfying and responsive your vehicles are to control. Given that Milestone are still around, I guess I shouldn't be surprised that they got this part down pat. Cars are heavy, but not sloppy. If you pay attention to your racing lines, you can get away with braking pretty late. Kicking the tail out is also viable for some corners. Don't confuse late braking with negligence, however, because some turns require vigilance to avoid going into the grass. Sometimes I feel like I can push the throttle just a little more, only to find myself running much wider than I expected. You've probably noticed the free bars in the lower right-hand corner. The one in the middle is your car's damage, which seems to function purely as a video game health bar, as in there's no gradual degradation of performance from what I can tell. The top bar is your driver's mental status. No, seriously, if an opponent tailgates you for long enough, you become, quote, intimidated and have your vision go all blurry. The final bar is something that Codemasters in Turn 10 would unapologetically steal years later. Rewind. The game calls this the Tiger effect, but it's just rewind, and it works exactly how you would expect it to. The best thing about the on-track action is definitely the intimidation mechanic. Not so much when you're on the receiving end, but when you're the one intimidating the guy in front of you. 2005's Juice does pretty much the same thing, and so did Race Driver Grid 3 years later. I really like how this whole intimidation thing isn't totally exaggerated and basically a kill switch. It simply makes your opponent more likely to make a mistake, not guarantee it. A phrase I've heard get thrown around the racing community a few times is car PG. Well, I guess I found a game that fits that bill because Evolution GT has a full character stats system where you can spend upgrade points to improve your resistance to intimidation, handling, acceleration, and so forth. There's even that RPG thing with how your outfit affects your stats. For real, you can improve your driving ability by wearing a cooler helmet or boots. This comes off as even funnier to me since you can't even see your driver during races or enter a cockpit view. As for how to unlock these things, there are 2 sections for you to make progress in during a career. The first is the season mode, where you pick a team to race with and then work your way through events which all provide different vehicles to drive. While the track variety is obviously not on par with Gran Turismo 4, repetition doesn't set in too quickly thanks to how the track selection is spaced out, also helped by varying weather conditions. The second mode that you'll want to look at is challenge mode. Here, you're given a set of challenges to complete which reward you with skill points when completed. You probably want to do this sooner or later so you can have a better chance in the season mode. The presentation in Evolution GT is much better than reviewers gave it credit for at the time. The menus are nice and clean and the in-game graphics are great for PS2, even running at 60 FPS or 50 for the PAL region. Even the tutorial at the start of the game impressed me, since there was not a single loading screen in between the parts where you get to listen to a professional race driver talk to you for a bit. Actually, these are the only parts where the presentation is a bit shoddy, since you can clearly tell they had no boom mic setup to record this guy talking, so they made him overdub it in the studio, only for some poor intern to have to synchronize it later.
Great. The amateur season is completed. The pro season awaits you.
Honestly, after experiencing Evolution GT for the first time just for this video, I believe that this is a pretty underrated game. It's possible that the PC version doesn't control quite as well. That was weirdly common during the 2000s. Like, PC ports of racing games had janky physics compared to the consoles. As far as this PS2 version is concerned, everything checks out and I had a great time. If you want to play this today, you can get the PC version from My Abandonware, or the PS2 version from those sites I'm not supposed to tell you about. And with that, you're ready to race. I hope to see you again in another Retro Recommend. Be sure to subscribe and support the show in the description below.